It gets better. I promise. Hi vloggers, welcome back to ABOHTV. If you're not feeling like yourself lately, I get it. Recently, I've been in a place where I've been feeling quite discouraged, and it wasn't too long ago. Just at the end of last year, I was going through these waves where something just didn't quite feel right. I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I could be doing better physically, mentally, emotionally. All of those things I felt like I could be doing better at. But when you feel like this and you're just not going anywhere, you feel like it's never going to get better and that it never will. And you're just in a constant state of discouragement. But sooner or later, it gets to the point where we decide, right, okay, we have to do something about this. And I'm guessing that that could have been the reason that you clicked on this video. So today I want to talk to you about what I do in particular when I'm struggling with this, how to deal with feeling discouraged, how to deal when you feel unmotivated, how to get out of a funk. These are the things that I do. And so maybe if you're going through something similar to this right now, then these things will help you too. Before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I make new videos every Wednesday and Sunday all about how you can get to your next breakthrough with your online presence, and I would love to see you for the next one. Okay, let's start with the facts. Things are pretty rubbish right now. You're in a constant state of thinking, why am I doing this? What's the point? Well, the first thing I want you to do is respect the moment. You know the saying, what comes up must always come down. So that thing that's down really has only one place to go. So you just have to sit in this moment and be aware of it. Okay, this is not my best moment. I am not bossing things right now. I'm trying very hard, to make this better, but there's going to be waves and there's going to be times when you are in this moment. By respecting it and being aware of it and saying, yep, these things have to happen, you are respecting the process. The process that is life. And it's not always sunshine and rainbows, no matter what Instagram tells you. The more you can respect what's happening right now, the more you can be grateful and respect what's happening at a later stage when you are in a completely different place. Next, and you might not like this, but I've got to say it because it works. I promise it's going to work. You've got to move your body. It's hard and it might mean leaving the house and having to suffer through it. But when you're done, it's annoying how much you love the fact that you got it done. You feel that increase in happiness, that increase in energy. Your state has changed. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time, this idea of changing your state. If you want to change something, you need to change your state. And that movement, getting your body going, is by far the first and most important thing you should do. Moving is a funny one because it can be so hard to do when you're not feeling motivated. Just like smiling feels hard to do when you're sad. But the reason for this is that it's your first challenge on your way to getting a more productive, less discouraging, more exciting life. Get back up there and carry on climbing that mountain, okay? You've got to make at least one change. Sit there where you are and take a look around. If you're not feeling yourself, if you're feeling a bit down, ask yourself these questions. What am I watching? What am I listening to? What am I surrounding myself with? What am I wearing? What am I doing with my time? What am I committed to? Once you start wrapping your mind around your state of discouragement and the things that are happening around you and condoning your behavior, something as simple as being a hermit and not leaving the house for way too long. I love it though. Make one little change. Maybe the big change was actually going to the gym. That's great. But now make another little change. Maybe you shouldn't be spending that extra hour watching Netflix. Maybe we shouldn't be watching so much of it. Maybe you listen to the same podcast every week, and in that podcast, the person that hosts it just complains all the time in every single episode. What is that doing to you? Make a change. Listen to something new. Put a dance party playlist on Spotify. Just make one little change and notice the difference. Write down what is happening. We have talked a lot about journaling here. It doesn't have to be in that capacity. It doesn't even have to be longhand. Maybe you feel a bit more free when you're typing. It's completely up to you. Just make sure you write it down. The biggest thing I want to see from you here is getting past those thoughts that are in the front of your mind. Those constant thoughts of, I don't feel good enough, I'm not happy, I'm not productive, I'm not excited. Write it all out. Get it out of your head so we can maybe start tapping into some other thought or idea that might be behind it. And once you start to have that breakthrough, you realize there's something else in there and you want to focus on something bigger than the rubbish that's been inside your head. How do you do that? You get it out of your head and into the real world. Now, tomorrow when you wake up, try 5 minutes earlier than usual. If you've been super discouraged lately, I mean, you know what time you wake up and what time you actually get out of bed. Whatever that time is that you got out of bed, set your alarm for just 5 minutes before that. Be realistic with yourself. Don't go crazy. Don't say, oh, well, Holly gets up at 6 a.m. every morning, so I should do the same when you've been rolling out of bed at 7:30. Be realistic with yourself. Instead of trying to force a big change, just try a simple one. 5 minutes. Just that little accomplishment of 5 minutes can change your mindset for the rest of the day. Maybe you don't collapse on the sofa sooner than you may have otherwise. Or maybe you actually feel prepared for work because you gave yourself that extra 5 minutes in your morning routine. If you're always saying to yourself, oh, I'm always 5 minutes late to this, or I wish I had 5 more minutes here, where can you find those 5 minutes? Now, you might be aware that there are some people in your life who are holding you back. And so I want you to come back with your negativity rebuttal. Ideally, this won't be a super negative comment to someone who's not being particularly encouraging. Although those moments are great when you come up with the best one-liner ever, but you never say it because you actually came up with it later and it's just super frustrating. We don't want that. We just want our best selves responding in a way to someone who is not being their best self to us and who might be making us feel like a lesser version of who we truly are. It could be someone at work, someone at home, someone you see every day. It could be a family member that's holding you back because they're feeling discouraged too. What is your rebuttal to that negativity when you know it's on its way? Because often we all make mistakes when it comes to this. We feel like lesser version of ourselves due to the way we've handled it. So how can you prepare for that? Something that is very foreign to me when I'm upset with someone or when they talk to me in a way that is discouraging or negative, I give them the silent treatment. I say nothing, which is difficult for me because those of you that know me know that I'm a talker. I'm not particularly loud or anything, but I'm definitely a talker. So if I'm really silent or quiet, that makes people know there's something wrong, and that in itself is enough to make them want to go back and correct what they just said. It can get awkward, but you better believe that it's the best rebuttal ever that I could come up with. And smiling. Smiling is a good one too. And speaking of smiling, why don't you actually think of someone who does make you smile? Talk to them. It could be a young person who is completely naive, which is one of the most delightful conversations you could ever have. Or maybe it's someone close to you, or maybe it's someone not that close to you, and you need to come up with the courage to reach out to them and say, hey, can I chat to you about this thing for half an hour? That's a moment you can look forward to. That's a moment you can be in and enjoy and feel uplifted by. So why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you talking to more people who make you smile? Find the time for it. Find a way. And the last thing I want to say before you go off and do something about the current state you're in is I want you to believe. I want you to believe that this is not forever. I want you to believe that this is not everything. I want you to believe that you are better than this. And I want you to believe that you can do this because nobody else is going to be able to do it for you. I can sit here for hours and hours and tell you how life is going to get so much better. And I even have to tell myself that sometimes. But I know that no matter how many people tell me, I have to do it on my own. And I believe that, and I have to instill that in myself every single day so I continue to do it. And I want that to happen for you too. Believe that you're capable, because you are. I hope this was a helpful place for you to start if you're really not feeling like yourself at the moment. We are still only at the very start of the year, and it could still be your best year yet if you decide to do something about it. I want to hear from you. What do you typically do when you're feeling discouraged, when you know you have to do something different? I want us to share that with each other in the comments so we can continue to make life just a little bit better every single day. And remember, it may not happen overnight, but it will incrementally with those simple changes. So let's go. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, as that tells me that I have been helpful to you in some way, and I really appreciate that. That's all for today, bloggers. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe for more strategy solutions so you can get one step closer to a breakthrough. You just bossed it.